Let's bring in Victorian Shadow Treasurer Brad Rowswell. Brad, thank you for your time. I made the point at the top of the show, red ink as far as the eye can see. There's not much left to sell for Victorians in order to turn this budget debt and deficit around. And of course, in real terms, you're paying $26 million a day just to service the interest payments on that debt, meaning that's not money for hospitals, it's not money for schools, it's not money for roads. What are your big takeouts from today?
Always great to chat, Peter. Look, firstly, this is what Victorians get after 10 years of Labor. This is what the price of Victorians pay after a decade of the Labor government here in Victoria, after a decade of Labor budgets. At the same time as their tax take has increased significantly, so has their debt, and so has their spending, and so has their waste. In the last 10 years alone, there's been more than $40 billion wasted on major project cost overruns, major project blowouts. And that means that we haven't got the money that we need to do the things that matter. And at the moment in Victoria, we've got a crime crisis on our hands. We've got educational standards that are flatlining. Could you imagine, Peter, what we could actually do in Victoria if the economy had been managed in not a reckless way, but in a responsible way, and the fact that Victoria would be ahead again, as it once was a decade or more ago?
Victoria used to be like the other states, Queensland and WA, a resource state. It used to export coal, it used to export gas. It doesn't even use that now for Victorians, Brad. And it's also taking in a lot of migrants from overseas. The Victorian population, 6.7 million and rising. Pressure on housing, businesses leaving the state. They can't afford to do business in Victoria. Homeowners selling up and getting out as well. I mean, how on earth do you turn the state around? I mean, what does Victoria generate to pay off this this debt?
Well, the first thing we've got to do, Peter, is start rolling out the red carpet and less red tape for businesses. Last year there were some 5,000 plus businesses that closed in this state. At the same time, 7,000 businesses that closed in this state at the same time as businesses grew by about 3,000 in New South Wales and 5,000 in Queensland, on the back of the opportunity they have with the Olympics there. So the first thing we've got to do is say to businesses that have recently left Victoria or shut in Victoria, and the thing we need to say to businesses in Victoria who are just, falling over under the pressure of Labor taxes is, Victoria will again be open for business under a Liberal national government here after the 2026 election. We've got to grow the economy. We've got to, stimulate the economy by getting off people's backs, by getting off businesses' backs. You mentioned housing, Peter. It's no wonder that we're in the middle of a housing crisis here in Victoria, that, rentals are unavailable and unaffordable. In the 53 new or increased taxes in the last 10 years under Labor, around half of those have been property taxes. Now, this is coming from a Labor government who say they care, but they frankly just don't. You don't tax something more and make it cheaper. If you tax something more, it's going to get more expensive and someone's got to pay for that. And the people that are paying are often vulnerable Victorians. Labor in this state after the last 10 years really don't give a stuff, and they're now paying the price for 10 years of Labor budgets.